Hi, college algebra. We're ready now to start the quadratic equation. We've done lines, we've done circles. They each had their special qualities. When I graphed a line, I saw that they had a slope and y-intercept. When we did circles, they had a center and a radius. Now we're doing quadratics, and the graph of it has a vertex and a direction of opening. And all of the graph has a special way of showing you what the answers to solving the equation is. We did that with the line, right? You were looking at the x-intercept. That's the same type thing that's going to happen here. In fact, it's the exact same thing. There are a couple ways to solve an equation such as this, 2x squared plus 7x minus 4. We've already, you've factored before. I know that factoring is challenging for some of you. I know that you've learned different methods in Algebra 1 and in Algebra 2. I just teach factoring as backwards FOIL. Okay, we're trying to find two binomials that multiply together to get 2x squared plus 7x minus 4. So we're going to use a little backwards reasoning. I want two binomials that multiply together to get 2x squared plus 7x minus 4. I know for a fact that the first two terms have to multiply to 2x squared. The only things that multiply to 2 are 2 and 1. Yeah, we don't have to write the 1, do we? We're in college. Sorry. 2x times x. Okay? I know that the last terms have to multiply to 4. I don't know. That might be 2 times 2. It might be 4 times 1. I'm not sure. So this is where the middle term comes into play. I know that my outer product plus my inner product has to give me 7x. So right now, the outer product is 4x, correct? 2x times 2. The inner product is 2x. There's no way to combine 4x and 2x and get 7x. So I've chosen the wrong factors of 4. It must be 4 times 1. Great. So now when I multiply the outers, okay, remember outer plus the inners give me the 7. That's 2x. And then here's 4x. Wait a second, that still is not 7x. So perhaps I have the 4 and the 1 interchanged. Maybe this was 1 and this is 4. Now my outer product, 2x times 4 is 8x. 1 times x is 1x. And I notice that if the 8x is positive and the 1x is negative, that will give me a 7x. I'll have 8x plus negative 1x is 7x. And of course, negative 1 times 4 is my negative 4. Okay? So it's playing. It's a puzzle. Factoring is fun if you think of it as a puzzle. All right, now once I have this product, and now I know that any two things multiplied together, if it's going to equal 0, either the 2x minus 1 is 0, or perhaps the x plus 4 is 0, or maybe they're both 0. It's the only way that this is going to happen to be 0. So for 2x minus 1 to equal 0, 2x would have to equal 1, and x would be a half. For x plus 4 to equal 0, x would have to be negative 4. I've solved this quadratic equation. Okay? The other way that you can solve a quadratic equation is by using the quadratic formula. Big question, do I have to memorize the quadratic formula? Yep, you do. Okay, you can do it. We're going to use it so much that it'll be in your memory forever. Okay. Negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. There's lots of gimmicks out there to learn how to memorize this, right? You heard the little, what was it, Pop Goes the Weasel or something? Oh, I can't even do it. I think they say, because these are going to give us x equals. So something like x equals negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Fine, sing it. If one person told me this poem one time, a negative boy couldn't decide whether or not to go to a radical party. He decided to be square. He missed out on 4 awesome chicks. The party was all over by 2 a.m. Whatever. Hey, whatever works, memorize it. So I have my equation down here. This is A, 7 is B, and negative 4 is C. So I substitute this in, the opposite of B. Well, B was 7, so I have negative 7 plus or minus the square root of B squared, 7 squared is 49, minus 4 times A is 2, times C is negative 4, all over 2 times A. 2 times 2 is 4. So I have negative 7 plus or minus the square root of 49. What's 4 times 2 is 8, times 4 is what, 32? So it's 49 minus negative 42. That's 32. That's really 49 plus 32. That's 81. All over 4. So I end up getting, I move myself. I end up getting negative 7 plus or minus 9 all over 4. So let's do both those. First, take negative 7 plus 9, put that over 4, and then take negative 7 minus 9 and put that over 4. Negative 7 plus 9 is 2. 2 over 4 is a half. Great. Negative 7 minus 9 is negative 16. Negative 16 over 4, negative 4. So the quadratic formula, oh, it gave me a half and negative 4. Factoring, oh, it gave me a half and negative 4. Doesn't matter how you do it, you're going to get a half and negative 4 because they're the answers. I guess it matters that you do it right, huh? Okay, now let's graph this. And right now I'm not interested in all the semantics of graphing a quadratic equation. We have our graphing calculators. You're allowed to use them. I just, go ahead and pull that up on your screen and let's try to graph this equation. Okay, so we'll type in y equals 2x squared plus 7x. You guys type it faster than I do, minus 4, and graph it. Okay, and then let's just, I didn't give you enough room there, so just graph as best you can. Sorry about that. All we need is a sketch. Okay, so it looks like I was going through negative 4. Well, I know if I put 0 in, that's okay. I know I didn't go down far enough, okay, guys, but this is basically what we had. Okay, if you look here, I'm going through negative 4, between 0 and 1. Look, I was getting this point, the 0, negative 4. If I put 0 in for x, I get negative 4. And then looks like I'm way down here at, like, I don't even know, negative 10. Okay, doesn't matter. I just want the sketch of it because what I want you to see are what the x-intercepts are, just like with a line. I'm going through the x-axis at a half and at negative 4. The x-intercepts are of y equals, okay, this is the graph of y equals 2x squared plus 7x minus 4. Well, when y is 0, I have 0 equals 2x squared plus 7x minus 4. And that was my question, right? So when y is 0, those are on the x-intercepts. And the x-intercepts are a half and negative 4. okay? So that's how the graph can show you the answers to a quadratic equation set equal to 0. Now, the other thing on this graphic organizer is the discriminant. The discriminant, I just want to show you. The discriminant is simply what's under the square root in the quadratic formula. Okay, so once you memorize the quadratic formula, you just know the discriminant is just this part, b squared minus 4ac. No square root or anything, just b squared minus 4ac. My b squared minus 4ac was what, 81? Okay, so the discriminant of my quadratic equation is 81. And what 81 tells me, as soon as I see that I have a perfect square as my discriminant, I know I can factor it. I know that my answers are going to come out rational, okay? Because I can take the square root of 81. So therefore, I'm going to get a rational answer, which means I could have factored it if I wanted to, okay? If you want to use a quadratic formula, that's fine with me, all right? I just want you to be careful when you use the quadratic formula, okay, guys? So often, I have people mess up the quadratic formula. Move myself out of the way again. Okay, let me just show you what I mean. You were supposed to type in negative b plus or minus. Okay, so you would type in negative 7. And then I'll just do the plus part for now. Okay, negative 7 plus the square root. And here's where we go. People just look and they go b squared. So they type 7 squared. Minus, now in this case it'll work, 4 times 2 times negative 4. Okay, and this, oh, I just hit tangent. Anyway, it'll work fine. Times 2 times, what did I say, negative 4. I can't really see this all. Okay, and then, you know, sometimes people just go, they forget to put their parentheses. They just write divided by 2. You know, like they're just like, they think they're, or divided by 4 in this case. Whoopsies. Okay, it was 4 down here. They think they're typing it in right, but they didn't close the parenthesis, all right, to end what was under the square root. They're just kind of blindly typing, and then they get their answer, and they say, oh, it's 0.5498. No, it's not. Okay, the other thing that happens is when you type in, if B happens to be negative, you'll end up getting the wrong answer because you forget that you're squaring it, and that becomes positive. And if you just type in, like if I type in negative 7 squared and I forget the parens, then I am going to get negative 49. And no, I didn't mean the opposite of 7 squared. When I say put negative 1 or negative 7 in for B, it's negative 7 in parentheses squared. And then that will give you positive 49. Okay? See the difference? So be careful with quadratic formula. I see people all the time, they get the wrong answer, and they're like, I'm plugging it in the quadratic formula. They truly think they're doing it correctly, and they're just not. Okay? All right. So anyway, that's the first one. Those are the ways, these are the different ways to solve a quadratic. You either factor, and how do I know if it can factor or not? I usually do the discriminant. I just right away, I'm like, well, let me just figure out the discriminant here and see if I can factor or not. B squared, so 49 minus negative 32, that's 81. Yep, I can factor it, and then I go further. Okay? Some people just love to use the quadratic formula, and they're good at it. That's fine. That'll give you the answers every time. I doubt that many people graph it, you know, to see the answers, because sometimes we can't tell where the x-intercepts are. But that's everything you learned from Algebra 2 about the ways to solve a quadratic equation. Almost everything. But okay, so let's try the next one. Go ahead and try that and then click on to the next video. Okay, see you then.